What's up, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. Press the like, press the share button for me. Go ahead, subscribe to this channel. Press that little subscription button. Click the little bell so you can get all the messages. I'm going to replay some. We're going to talk about the gun debate today. It's a debate, so I'm going to put my position up. I'm going to tell you where it comes from, where I'm putting this up for. I was told I wasn't a man because I didn't carry a gun. Interesting. Start shooting. Gonna look at a couple of clips right now. Just want y'all to see something here. We're gonna look at a couple of clips. Like I said, press the like, press the share. Come on in. Let's look at this here. I want to ask this question here. I'm going to look at a couple of clips and I want to see who's the bigger man. Who's getting protected. Just a couple. You know, it's not everything. All right, so what you've witnessed here is this manhood. Is this manhood? I just wanted to know, what do we see here? Let's go back through it without the... We seen, this is manhood. And we see gentlemen, they're sitting here talking. They're talking with each other. Young men. in a neighborhood. We don't know where this is at. See one person standing in the building, two people here. We see car drives up, comes right out, does a drive-by, does an initial spray. Who's more of a man? The people with the guns. These guys on the ground, they got guns. Obviously, these two, the ones that's in this gray and this black sweater, they don't have a gun. What do? Run. The people, the men, run out there in front. This guy comes out pointing his weapon. He has a gun. The other guys, I guess they're not men. They run away. They leave. The guys with the men, I guess they on the ground with the little gun. They're not thinking of trying to get away. They're just thinking of shooting back. So this guy was not aware the second car came. Killed him. What's the men doing? They on the ground. I guess this one, he ain't a man. He running back inside. I guess he don't have a weapon. So his mentality is different. The guys with the weapons, their mentality is different. Who's more protected? Let's look. Now he got a weapon, he tried to run, but he didn't run all the way. He still he got that weapon, that courage, that metal crutch, that masculinity. His idea of a masculine man is inside of that weapon. He got that weapon. He has him a chance. He's not even thinking that he is completely defeated. Tactical defeat. Look at the one that's on the ground. This man is basically dead. This guy right here, if he would have stopped shooting, he may be able to fortify himself and save a couple of his friends in this building. And if somebody wanted to come in that building, it's more dangerous for them to do that. Call some friends, maybe get out of the situation. But no, what do they do? This guy can't even do nothing. Killed him. Look at one. Look at this one. Look at this man back here. They coming back. Because what? They don't want no retaliation. They don't want no retaliation. These guys are in fear as well. Because they did a drive-by and now they got to get rid of them all so they don't have no retaliating. Dead. Now we want to listen to the neighborhood, listen to the community. We got a lot of screaming. These aren't even black men though, but the point is I'm talking about the mentality of the weapon. Having that gun. You're protecting yourself. We got 1, 2, 3, at least 3, I think 4 deaths that's on screen. I don't know what happened to these gentlemen that ran through here. Maybe they alive, they dead, or we don't know. But this is protection. So the people who didn't have the weapon, they ran. They got out of there. The people who had the weapon, they stayed and tried to, they battled it out. They got a chance. They got their weapon. See? Here, we coming back some more. See? Now look, this is manhood. We got a weapon. Is this manhood? The people with the weapons. Now you can call this one a good guy or a bad guy. We don't know what the hell happened. These guys who are killed, who are dying right now, who are going to die right now, they could have killed somebody that these guys knew. We don't know. This could be a retaliation from some earlier crime or incident. We don't know who's good. We don't know who's bad. All we know is what we see at this very moment. We don't know if both of them are bad. We don't know. All we know is that there's a disagreement and that there's weaponry, high-powered weaponry involved. That's all we know right now. So this is what... These aren't even black men, guys. This is another thing I really still understand. But it doesn't matter because this happens everywhere. But I just wanted everybody to see this. This is not just here. This is not just in the black community. But you see, the faces are concealed, mask on. They didn't go in the building. So, I just wanted to show everybody that because the thing is, a little while back, I was talking about people. We have a situation where the brothers in the family, the black people, the nation, and all like-minded people, we're buying land. We're sick of being subjugated. So the family is buying land. We bought land in Georgia. They don't have a gun on them.
Man, we here.
Are they men?
At the hereafter.
Brother don't have a weapon on him. Is this a man is this is he a punk? What's going on? The brother don't have a weapon on him. What's going on? We're not seeing guns blazing.
We're here at the farms, man. We, as y'all can see, well, you don't see, but we just delivered a cabin there. Some of y'all heard the story, but we was gonna get 63 acres not too far from here. Somebody lied to the seller and tried to stop us, and we end up coming up on 100 acres, and it got better land. Look how God worked.
See the women? They're not screaming. It's the ribbon cutting ceremony. They're smiling. Okay.
I mean, this is it. This is a revolution here manifesting right in real form. You see all these beautiful Aboriginal, indigenous, melanated people who have come together and celebrating this land grab, taking back what was originally ours to begin with. And so it's the devil knows his time is up. Our people know it's our time to rise.
It's really a show of unity because, one person may put out the call, but it takes 100 people to answer that call and come together and work together. We put our minds together. We put our money together. We put our spirits together and our hearts together. We came together like brothers and sisters to make this a reality.
Thank God for all of us and for even the thought. I definitely want to thank Sister Marlena and everybody who's a part of it. Because it ain't just us that helped to lock down the land, it's everybody that's here. So we all have that idea and we all keep the vision in mind and don't get ego driven and money vision. Then I think all of us will remain successful. But I just want to say, man, let's continue to stay together, stick together. There's always going to be some ups and downs. I don't know if y'all heard, but at first we was going to get 63 acres. But somebody was there, probably, and they called and lied on us and was telling the seller that we was doing a GoFundMe to get the money. Brother Farrakhan said, well, tell them to send you the link then. Couldn't do that, but they continued to lie. They had people calling the people saying that we wasn't good people to sell to. And guess what happened? Right down the road, we done found 100 acres and the land is better. And that's why we all here today. So I thank you all for coming and making this possible.
Hereafter, we have to learn how to be self-sustainable.
Now we seeing men. I don't see guns. The men. I just want us to pay attention where manhood comes from. Masculinity, protection, land, securing a place, a fortification where people can invest their time, labor, and assets to build and protect. Okay? The gun is like not there. It's just something that people have. You know, and this is what I'm saying. I wanted to get this in. You'll see why I'm making this point in a minute. You'll see why I'm making this point. Not only these brothers, but we had the 19 families in Georgia. This particular property is in Georgia. These are brothers. This is headed up by men, black men. Okay, so and there's black families, but these are black men who are doing this, and we all should be doing stuff like this. This is what we do when we see that we need protection of our families. Men go out and we figure out how to solve that problem. So I want us to understand this. We need to be putting out the positive stuff too. But I just want us to understand something about weaponry, guns, the danger of society, and solutions, actual solutions versus, just some temporary stuff.
Economically.
It's real protection.
And one of the things that we failed, or that they taught us, that has been a lie, was that we need their banks in order to be successful. But when you look at a bank ain't nothing.
All right,
Everybody that's a part of the Hereafter Forums family investing, you'll also get private banking, a course for free. Here's
we're going to have bounce houses.
Here's a gun.
What else we got going?
So you got the young children with the guns right now. They little
Cabin got delivered.
Look at this land, guys. All of this is their property. All of it, far as the eye can see. All of that. This is farming equipment.
Come on.
That's the family size right there.
See, structures. This is their property. These families own this. And each one of them, they have their own plot of land on here. They're going to build their own community. They're going to police it. The weapons will be regulated. So, just wanted to put that part out there. Here, we have a brother that actually was one of the investors. His picture won't show up, but that's fine. Hold on. So his picture is not showing up on Instagram right now, but whatever. Let's see if it shows up. Hold on. There it is. There he is. Okay, so this particular brother, Dr. Boyce Watkins made a post. He said that he's going to support the Hereafter Farms, the brothers and sisters. They're buying acres of land. This is going to continue. I would ask people to look into investing in it. This particular brother was going to be an investor, but he says, these people took me off the list because I couldn't make the meeting due to a family function. This is suspicious. I don't trust anything from them. Just watch yourself. Okay, wait. Now, hold on, guys. Because they took you off the meeting. They took you off the list because you didn't make the meeting. You didn't make the meeting. You decided to go to the family function. It may have been more important to you. That's fine. But now you want to we want to cast negative talk on good because of the way we feel about it, some disappointment. He says, I'm looking at some more of it. So I asked him, I said, okay, your statements okay, so then let's look at this here. Hold on. So let's see. The brother, and then somebody comes at him. You trust the opinions of them means nothing. Nobody's looking for. Okay, so people start checking him about his negative talk just because he didn't make a meeting and they took him off the list. So now somebody else, no coon zone. They don't allow gun ownership on the property. No sense owning land and not being able to protect your land and your family. It's a new age Black Wall Street waiting to happen. So this is another issue why I posted the gun issue. You know, our guns was protecting us. We got cities all over the place. Okay, where is firearm mortality state by state? Where's the worst states? The worst states, people getting killed by guns. What's going on? What's going on? Ruth Booth? What's going on? Yeah, but the thing is, where's the states that's getting killed the most? Who's getting killed by these guns? Let's look at it. The red indicates more deaths per 1,000 people. See, this is age adjusted. This is the earliest year that they have available. Showing here. Let's look at it. Hold on. Firearm mortality by state. We got Alabama, Mississippi, more dead folks, Louisiana, Missouri, New Mexico. High populations of dead. Wyoming, places where people don't even know. We didn't know. South Carolina, a lot of dead folks. Okay, so let's look at this. I want to go through a little bit of these. I think they messed up my. Hold on. Let's look at this. This is CDC. So I don't know how much we can trust it, but that's 2005. So let's go to the earliest one, 2019. We want to go through. So the places that have the lowest, Massachusetts. So Massachusetts, as far as the firearm, hold on a second. Homicide rate, hold on a second. Yeah, we're going to get into it. I just want to get into a couple of them. So showing here, Massachusetts. So this is the lowest state right now. Hold on a second. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm getting the right number, so I'm looking at it right. Firearm mortality by state. So New York, let's see, Massachusetts. Okay. Massachusetts death rate. I'm trying to find here it is. Firearm injury and death rate. 3.4 per 100,000. So basically 3.5 people per 100,000 people dead. That is the firearm injury death rate in Massachusetts. Let's see how many guns per person Massachusetts folks own legally registered guns. Keep in mind, I mean, this is just a real quick thing, but we just need to understand something. Number of registered weapons in the United States by state. All right, let's look at Massachusetts. Okay. So Massachusetts is not the lowest, but they're way down there. So it's 45,138 registered weapons. And this is according to Statistica. So this is what they got. 45,000 registered weapons. And let's look at all of the states with low registered weapons. Let's look at Rhode Island on this map, on this one. So what is Rhode Island's death rate per, oh, look at that. It's low, 3.6. Let's look at, that's the lowest registered weapons. Let's look at Delaware. Let's see if they got it. Delaware. Oh, Delaware is a little higher, but it's still low relatively. It's lower than the average. The average for the United States is 12 per 100,000. Hold on. This went backwards. Let me see. Let's do it early. Let's get it. Yeah, okay. We're still pretty much around the same, though. Similar. So Massachusetts is the lowest. Rhode Island, still low. But it's higher than it was back in 2005. Well, let's look at Delaware. Delaware went up too, actually, but it's still low compared to the average of the United States. So the whole, in all, gun violence went up. So we still see the same states, they're still high. Look at Alaska. Look how many gun deaths per 100,000 person in this small state. It's only 600 and something thousand people in Alaska. And look how many gun deaths. They have more gun deaths than some of our states. Look at Georgia. Look at Texas. Alaska has more gun deaths. And so we're talking about Chicago all the time. But who's killing who? Americans are slaughtering each other with guns all over the place. So when these brothers talking about, oh, they don't allow you to bring your guns on the property. No. We don't need you having no arguments. Of course, there are going to be arguments. This is long term. Okay, when we buying these land communities with black folks in it, we're going to be having, long terms. People going to be growing up there. We're going to be having neighborhoods, communities. It's going to be sectioned off. So we're going to be able to control the influx and outgoing. We're not allowing all these guns and stuff up in there in every little household like it's the Wild Wild West. If you notice how now the brother, they mad because the Nation of Islam, some of the people in the Nation of Islam set it up. I said, brother, if you don't agree with the parameters that they set up for their community, why don't just ask them to teach you how they did what they did, and you go do it, and you set up a gun-toting community. He just wanted to spew negative talk. The brother just wanted to spew negative talk. See, I asked him. Funny how the Nation of Islam is one of the strongest black organizations, most protected and protects others, and they don't carry guns. Maybe you should do more learning than criticizing. There is a method to this civilization building thing. And the brother says, Michael, you keep thinking you can deal with savages without weapons. You keep thinking the minister doesn't have security that will wet some shit up if necessary. You keep setting yourself up to be a victim. Good luck with that shit. I said, we have weapons, but because you refuse to study how this works, you can't understand. Physical battle is when all other fighting has failed. Have you read The Art of War? The brother just laughs. If you don't have guns and they do, you lose. If you believe otherwise, good luck. And what I'm asking people to understand is, how did this happen here? Nobody's showing guns. Nobody displaying any guns. The United States, you right at the Capitol. This is the Million Man March. The president left. The Congress left. These people have weapons. There was weapons all under the White House at that day. There was almost 2 million black men on there. No weapons. No weapons were displayed. And like people want to keep saying that the minister got weapons all over the place. You can't find, I asked people to find a picture of the Nation of Islam showing any weapons or doing anything with weapons ever. The weapons, there's not no weapons like that. There's not no gun weapons. You know, that's not how it works. Your unity is stronger than you think. And this is the reason why white people, they want to kill people who talk faster than they kill people with weapons. All your little weapons is good for is for you to kill yourself. This is all your weapons is good for. See, that's what your weapon's for. You get those weapons. What's your weapon? There you go. What's your weapon for? See, look at that. That's your weapons. Who you shooting with your weapons? Who you killing with your weapons? Who you protecting with your weapons? You're not protecting nothing with your weapons. You using your weapons. What are you using your weapons for? This is not manhood. You're using your weapons to kill each other. That's what your weapons is for. Now, of course, we have people that try to get robbed and they save themselves, and you know, there's some other stuff that happen. I mean, if you have a regulated business of protection and guardians, whole different story. But when you're talking about having random weapons and stuff, you're not doing nothing but setting your family up to get slaughtered. Let's look. The myth of the good guy with a gun. This brother has a shirt on. I'm a man. I don't need a gun. Audrey Miller is comforted by community activist Andrew Holmes during a memorial for her 11-year-old granddaughter, Shamira Adams. 2014 in Chicago, Adams was killed when a stray bullet. See who you killing? Remember? Here's your stray bullets. You see this? They're not concerned who they're shooting. There's kids, women, children all over the place. Her 11-year-old granddaughter, Shamira Adams, was killed in 2014 in Chicago. Adams was killed by a stray bullet, flew through an open window and interior wall and struck her in the head, killed the baby. That's what you're protecting. This is your weapons. This is your guns. We're not allowing that. inside of the community as we establish it on the foundation. It is not saving us. It is not protecting our community. Wayne Lapierre, National Rifle Association, issued a passionate call to arms. He calling more arms last year, painting a bleak picture of a dystopian America on the brink of collapse. Okay. So tragically, a record number of Americans subscribe to some. Okay, so let's look at this. This is a myth. We know in the world that surrounds us, there are terrorists and home invaders and drug cartels and carjackers and knockout gamers and rapers and haters, campus killers, airport killers, shopping mall killers, road rage killers, and killers who scheme to destroy our country with massive storms of violence against our power grids, or vicious waves of chemicals, or disease that could collapse the society that sustains us all. All right, so this is the mindset that the gun manufacturers want you to have. You're scared of each other. So who's your gun pointed at? Not the government. It's not anybody that's trying to do any of this stuff to you. It's pointed at the other citizens. Lapierre's central message: owning a gun is the solution. The world is a scary place. There are bad guys everywhere threatening you and your family, and the only thing they're afraid of is your guns, your handguns, basically, your gun in your hand. Tragically, a record number of Americans subscribe to some version of this mythology, with 63%. 67% of men polled and 58% of women believing that guns truly do make them safer. I mean, statistically, it's just not true, guys. The public's confidence in firearms, however, is woefully misguided. The evidence overwhelmingly shows that guns leave everybody less safe, including their owners. You actually are more likely to be killed by a gun when you own a gun, like several times more likely. You or your family member is more likely to be murdered by that weapon that you bought. I mean, statistically. A study from October 2013 analyzed data from 27 developed nations to examine the impact of firearm prevalence on the mortality rate. It found an extremely strong direct relationship between the number of firearms and firearms deaths. The paper concludes the study debunks the widely quoted hypothesis that guns make a nation safer. This finding is bolstered by several previous studies, and I just showed you. This is statistics you can look at right now. That's, these two sites are unrelated. They're not trying to piggyback off of each other. You see what I'm saying? So the bottom line is it's just the bottom line. It's like, when you want to make your community safer, your guns have to be well regulated. That means a police force, some sort of force that's outside, but within the community walls. Black Wall Street had guns. They were shooting back. So, I mean, and they all didn't die either. So a lot of them left and restarted communities. That don't tell you that. They just tell you that the Black Wall Street was destroyed. But the people actually redeveloped in other places. And, those are our ancestors. So if we examine data from within the United States, the odds are any better for gun owners. The most recent study examining relationships between firearms and homicide rates on a state level, published last April, found a significant positive relationship between gun ownership and overall homicide levels. Using the data from 1981 to 2010 and the best firearm ownership proxy to date, the study found that for every 1% increase in gun ownership, there was a 1.1% increase in the firearm homicide rate and a 0.7% increase in the total homicide rate. This was after controlling for factors such as poverty, unemployment, income inequality, alcohol consumption, and non-homicide violent crime. Further, the firearm ownership rate had no statistically significant impact on non-firearm homicides, meaning there was no detectable substitution effect. There is, in the absence of guns, would-be criminals are not switching to knives or some other weapons to carry out homicide. These results are supported by a host of previous studies that illustrate that guns increase the rate of homicides. Of course they do. It just makes it so much easier to go kill people. The evidence against firearm ownership becomes even stronger when suicides and accidents are included in the analysis. Guns make both much more likely and more fatal. There can be nothing closer to a consensus in the gun debate than this point. Every single case control study ever conducted in the United States have found gun ownership is a strong risk factor for suicide, even after adjusting for aggregate level measures of suicidality. That's weird. Such as mental illness, alcoholism, poverty, and so on. One might accept that firearms are dangerous and that they substantially elevate the risks of homicide, suicide, and fatal accidents, but still believe that policies regulating gun ownership are ineffective. Criminals, after all, won't follow them. However, another recent study from May 2013 analyzed the impact of state firearm laws on firearm-related fatalities. It found that most gun-restrictive states had significantly fewer firearm fatalities, and we just seen that, than states with the least restrictive laws. The results are in line with previous academic studies tackling the same questions. It's actually just common sense. These findings are further supported by a case study examining the impact of 2007 Missouri decision to repeal its permit to purchase handgun licensing law. The research concluded that the repeal was associated with a 16% increase in annual murder rates, indicating that state gun control laws have a significant impact on the homicide rate. Suppose a criminal has just broken into your house brandishing a firearm. You need to protect yourself and your family. Wouldn't anyone feel safer owning a gun? This kind of narrative propagated by gun advocates in defense of firearm ownership, it preys on our fear, yet the annual per capita risk of death during a home invasion is literally, look at this, guys, 0.000002, which of all intents and purposes is zero. Despite the astronomical odds against being killed, this fear of home invasion often drives people like Becca Campbell of Ferguson, Missouri, to gun ownership. This past November, Campbell was riding home in a car with her boyfriend after purchasing a gun, preparing for the unrest expected to follow a grand jury decision about whether to pursue criminal charges against the policeman who killed Michael Brown. She joked, "We're ready for Ferguson," waving the gun. Distracted, the boyfriend ran into the car ahead of them. The gun then fired, killing Campbell. She just bought her own murder weapon. "We're ready for Ferguson." The boyfriend had the car accident, killing her. Moving to a state level analysis to the household or individual, the risks of gun owners become even more apparent. A recent meta-analysis of 16 studies examined the relationship between firearms and gun deaths. Gun owners doubled the risk of homicides and tripled the risk of suicides. All y'all depressed gun owners, that's your murder weapon. Look at it. As soon as you get a little couple nights of depression, you ready to just go ahead and kill yourself. You sit up there and do it by mistake. And then If that gun wasn't there, you would have had a harder time going through that and more of a chance of coming up out of your depression. So this research is bolstered by a national survey that found that a gun in the home was far more likely to be used to threaten family members or intimidate a partner than to be used in self-defense. Gun advocates may counter that this doesn't reveal the entire picture. After all, case studies of these fatal gun incidents can't capture the benefits that widespread defensive gun use bestows on the society. However, despite the NRA's mantra that there are millions of defensive gun uses every year, which is probably true, maybe millions, I don't know. Every year, empirical data reveals that defensive gun uses are actually extremely rare. Criminal uses of firearms far outnumber legal defense uses. The evidence shows that there may be fewer than 3,000 defensive gun uses annually. In comparison, there are 30,000 gun deaths annually, many more injuries and shattered lives. The cost of gun ownership unequivocally outweighs the benefits. In light of the overwhelming evidence that guns are a public health threat, gun advocates often retreat to "it could never happen to me" mentality. This worldview is tragically mistaken. Consider the case of Veronica Dunnichi. She was, by many gun advocates' definition, a good gal with a gun, a strident voice for gun rights. She was an open carry advocate dedicated to expanding the unlicensed open carry of firearms. In Texas, open carry is currently restricted to long guns. She pushed to include handguns. She frequently attended rallies and protests organized by open carry Tarrant County. In a domestic dispute on December 10th, she allegedly shot and killed her husband. See, and she killed her stepdaughter. Horrified, Dunnichi called a friend telling him she had just done something bad. So she just killed these people, and now, because guns make it so easy to kill people, it's like as soon as you get an angry, snap, you just kill somebody, and you're like, oh no. And at his urging, checked herself into a nearby mental health clinic. Everyone likes to pretend that he or she is more rational, more responsible, and more immune to the risks that gun ownership possesses relative to the average American. Yet, we know from gun violence statistics that many are simply misjudging their own competency. Everyone thinks he or she is above average, but half are mistaken. Y'all ain't no better than nobody else. Rather than gangbangers and maniacal criminals going on killing sprees, it is cases like Dunnichi's that drive gun violence. Now, keep in mind what we're looking at here. This is the latest statistics. So we're told that Chicago is like the worst place in the universe. Illinois' gun deaths are actually lower than the national average. And even all of the states that's surrounding the Midwest. Indiana, Indiana's just a little bit above. Michigan is at the national average. The worst states for gun violence are actually these white states. See, we don't ever hear about the entire state, though. More people dead than the national average. They have a horrible record. Wyoming, black people in Wyoming, in Montana. New Mexico is not that many black people there. Alaska, it's not that many black people there. Who's killing who? West Virginia? Now, the places where black folks are, we got South Carolina, we got Georgia, we got Florida, Michigan. Yeah, we up in here. This is our little spot. And yeah, Alabama, yeah, we all up in here, Louisiana, and we in Texas. But I mean, so are white people too, and they killing each other like crazy. Arkansas, Missouri. So, we just need to understand that, that gun, we have to regulate this gun. We can't just go by the popular narrative. It's not a manhood builder. You are a man without that gun. Now, if you have a business that you're doing guardianship, protecting, you've been formally trained, and you know how to actually separate your manhood, because a lot of times people, you get a certain mentality. You go into dangerous areas where if you didn't have that gun, you wouldn't go. You see, look how these guys are acting. They got the gun. They should have just ran. That would have been the wise decision. You standing here, somebody does a drive-by. Look at the ones without the gun. These two. Somebody did a drive-by on you. You just run. Hide. Get away from there. Get out of there. But this guy, because he got a gun on him, he's standing in the middle of the damn street, no cover, and he think he gonna just pop. What he gonna do? Even after he got shot and ran for cover, because he still got his gun, he stands up, exposing himself. That's a mentality. That's not wise decision making. That's why he's dead. Okay? So gun ownership is not what's protecting you. It's your wise decisions. And I'd be very interested in talking more about this subject to anybody who's wanting to talk about it. And peace. Thank you, everybody, for listening and signing off.